This episode of the Great Lakes Outdoors podcast is brought to you by
Migrate Ammunition, GK Calls, Gibraltar Boatyard, Point Malay Waterfowl Festival, Gibraltar Duck Hunters Association, Turtle Box. We'd like to give a special thanks to Brian Ellithorpe. Give him a follow on all social media.
We appreciate all the support. Now let's get to the show.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Great Lakes Outdoors podcast. If you are watching online, you may be wondering, something doesn't look right here. Well, you're right. Kyle has left us for the week, and he has left his second in command to hold the reins. You'll be in good hands because I have a great guest on this week, Mr. Ben Geiger. What's going on, man?
Not a lot. Got dragged into this, so first ever podcast. We'll see what comes up.
I know. I texted you, what was it, yesterday or the day before? I was like, hey, man, you want to hop on a podcast and do this with me this week? So
It was this morning.
it was not this morning. It was yesterday, right?
It was this morning.
It
I
might have
got
been
zero notice, no preparation.
Yeah, I see.
That's right. I dragged you into worse things.
No, we've done a lot of stupid things together. I feel like this is, on the scale of stupid things that we have done, this might be on the low end of it.
This is a safe bet, I think.
Yes, doesn't miles and miles of walking. You can enjoy your Oberon, and we can just bullshit around a little bit here.
My Great Lakes Outdoors koozie, of course.
Oof. Yeah, and you asked me for some topics this week, and I said I don't usually run this thing. Kyle has all the topics. He does everything. So we're just gonna wing it and see how this thing goes. But a couple of things I want to talk about on this episode was property management. Me and you both are kind of in a similar boat. Fairly new to our properties, been there less than 3 years now. Three-ish years. We're in that time slot now where a lot of work gets done before, turkey season and stuff. What are some things that you've been doing now? I know you've picked up some properties this past year. What are some things that you're doing for your property and also the property that you picked up?
So my property that I live on and own is quite a bit different than the property that I have permission on in terms of size and just the features. Property here is a lot of mature trees, maples, tulip poplar, cherry. No real red oaks or anything, and we're also in big woods. And there's no real agriculture within 3/4 of a mile. And like Travis said, I haven't really had a successful food plot, I would say, other than, clover and just basic stuff. So I think main goal for the home property this year would be getting a better food source out there. I'm going to take the pH and soil conditioning a little bit more seriously this spring. Get some lime, soil samples, things like that. And then for the permission piece, it's a bit larger, a lot of oaks. And then there's a nice wheat field, corn, and bean rotation right on the back side. So that's got some ag there. Main thing there is it's an older gentleman. He wants some property care going on, cleaning up the trails for him and his wife, and then he's letting me put in a small food plot. So I think we'll be tackling that in a couple weekends. So
yeah, I think you have me roped into helping out a little bit with that as well.
Yeah.
The things that we do for each other.
Yeah. What do you got going on?
Well, right now I am doing a lot of cutting and burning. Two of my favorite things, two of my favorite words in the dictionary: cut and burn.
Yep.
Yeah. So right now I'm clearing out some props, right behind the barn. I took down six trees down behind the barn, opening that up.
Dropped them successfully?
5 of the 6 were successful. The one closest to the garden that gave me a scare because it went up straight, and then at the top it hooked towards the garden. Well, I dropped the first one. It was pretty easy. Nothing really, no really worries. Just notched it, dropped it. It was good. Second one, I was like, I'm gonna record this one. Make a video and stuff. So I set my tripod up. I get cutting, and I'm looking up. I get the notch cut, and I look up, and I'm like, wait a second. This thing is leaning not the right direction. Mm-hmm. So I instantly went, my wife is gonna kill me if this thing drops on our garden that we just put up last year.
That's the real driving motivator there.
So I went and I grabbed a couple ratchet straps, and I had this pile had been there since early last fall. So I hooked a ratchet strap around it, and I went into the middle of the pile, and I ratcheted around, and I ratchet to try to get it tight so it would fall towards the pile. Well, I start cutting, and my saw pinches going the other direction. I'm like, that's not good. So I go and get my tractor, and I put the bucket up to it to push it. Well, I went to push it, and I hadn't cut enough on the one side. So it swung back, and I'm like, oh no. And so I ram it forward, put the emergency brake on to hold it there, and then I cut it the rest of the way, and it fell, thankfully, onto the piles. In the grand scheme of things, it was a successful drop because nothing got hurt. I wasn't hurt.
Yeah.
But it could have went a lot
Learn.
easier. It could have went a lot easier. And then, I mean, out back is completely different now. I have, where when you come out of the trail, it opens up into the big field out back there, or not in the big field, into the swamp area where I'd cleared out. There was all that brush and stuff that piled up from clearing there. That's all gone now. That all got burned for the most part there. And then last year, where my fire may have gotten a little bit out of hand and went up into my walnuts, that is all cleared out now into a pile ready to be burned when we get some halfway decent weather, when the wind isn't blowing 20 miles an hour, and get ready to plant some pines and stuff that hopefully will not get incinerated by a fire. That is the plan.
No more fires for you.
No, I mean, I've been wanting to get out and start tilling up some ground. It's been so nice out. And then, of course, we got a bunch of rain, and now all the area out back is all water. Because I got woods, about, I would say, 7 of my 10 acres is mostly woods, and the backside is swamp. And once we get a little bit of rain on it, that swamp is just soupy. And I've buried that thing so many times out there. It's not something I want to do in the late March when we have a lot of runway still to put food plots and stuff in.
Yeah.
Speaking of tractors, Ben, we've talked a lot about Ben on this podcast. Not some funny things that he's done, but one of the things we haven't talked about is how ingenuitive he is. He does a lot of things by himself. And one thing he tried to tackle was he had bought a tractor on the low end, did not run, thought it'd be an easy fix. Well, a year and a half later, it is running now after he seeked out professional help. So, But what's the plans with that tractor this year?
My grandparents growing up, they owned a farm, so I've always kind of been enthralled with the old iron. So about a John Deere 3010. Travis said, yeah, bit of a project. Ran when parked type of deal. And after some tinkering and maxing out my capabilities, and then just out of time and winter, it kind of sat for the entirety of winter, and I just got tired of looking at it. Said, somebody else can fix this for me. So it got sent out, and it ended up being something simple, just an ignition switch. But probably the main thing is dragging some of these bigger logs out of here. As I mentioned, pretty mature trees, and dragging them up where I can process them for firewood. And we burn firewood at the house here to heat in the winter, and I've struggled to get ahead of myself and have enough wood split for the upcoming season. So hopefully in my time off this summer we can get ahead of ourselves. So then,
well, you have so many projects going on. It's like I talked to you one day, and this going on, and then now you're running a tote business. It's like when does it stop and you have time for yourself? You know?
Yeah. No, I enjoy a good project. We'll be able to lift someone's deer blind up in the air, hopefully, get elevated.
I mean, I'm ready for it whenever.
I know.
I'm chomping at the bit for that green beast to get over to my property and move us blind for me.
We're gonna have to widen some trails. She's pretty thick.
We can make it happen.
She's wide. She's got a wide rear end.
Are you planning on lifting your box blind up in the air?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna source some telephone poles or something and hopefully get up there a good 8-10 feet. I'd like to get it out there on the edge of the power lines, get some nice 200-yard shots.
Move it to the corner where you can still shoot into the woods and have a straight shot down the line, or what was your thoughts with that?
Yeah, my dad usually gun hunts. He's not a big bow hunter. He just likes to sit in his blind and enjoy November 15th and 16th and those surrounding days. And so I bow hunt my property, and then I usually let him have gun season. So give back to, the guy that got me involved in one of my biggest passions, and set him up for success and get him, a little bit more area to patrol. Right now he's using a 450 Bushmaster, and his longest shot is probably about 50 yards. So
hey, it does the trick.
Yeah, he got it done this fall. So
He got himself, what, was it 9-point or 8-point?
It was a 9-point. Yep. Busted up leg, came in gimping along. So Took him out of his movie.
That wasn't one that you had wounded for him, right?
No, not my fault.
Not that one.
That one made it though. I've seen him. I've seen him twice now. So he's still out there.
He might have some awesome wreck this year with some deformities or something.
I hope so. He'll probably have a big old wound right in his rib cage.
That's all you were doing. You were just trying to create some cool genetics out there with some.
Yeah, I like the unique racks. Travis is trying to rub in my shoulder shot on me.
Hey, we all do it. It's okay.
Yeah.
You just did it a few times.
That's
this
actually
year.
the first time I've done that.
Put her into the shoulder.
Yeah, shoulder shot a buck. I've missed plenty. I've never shoulder punched one.
I think my dad did that. It's been like probably 10, 12 years ago. He had, when he was hunting with this, was Team Shock. It was this outdoor, kind of what we're doing, type of thing. Mm-hmm. He had shot one. He thought he had just center punched the thing. Was going to be an easy track, right? Well, they tracked it for a long ways. They decided to back out on it. Well, he ended up shooting that deer with a gun during gun season, and the shaft was stuck right here through his shoulders. The full shaft was straight through here.
Wow.
It's just crazy what these deer can take. It came in, it was like licking its side. He's like, "What the heck is going on?" It turned broadside and it just had a massive just
abscess.
Yeah, abscess on it. Oh.
Yeah, no, I didn't get that much penetration. I dragged Travis out to track that one with me, and we gave up on it after 500 yards, jumping fences and trees, and
I'm glad I came because you weren't seeing any blood.
No,
so.
I'm colorblind, shade blind.
I'm not knocking you. I don't want people to think that I'm knocking colorblind people. You just can't see sometimes.
It's a disability, okay? We should call this the Disabled Hunter podcast.
No, this is just my Make a Wish pod. This is my podcast this week.
Thanks for having me on. It's been a real dream of mine to be on the Great Lakes Outdoors podcast.
But I know you wanted to be on with Kyle, and unfortunately, you're stuck with me this week. So, but
Kyle's headed to somewhere warm.
Yeah, he's down in Mexico right now with his lovely girlfriend Sid and a couple other couples down there. So he's enjoying the sunshine while we're stuck up here in 35-degree weather.
Sick invite, Kyle.
Well, that's what he told me. He had told me, a month or two ago about it, and then I called him probably shortly before I texted you, and I was like, "Hey, man, when are we gonna schedule this podcast for this week? We got to get one out for Monday." And he goes, "I'm about to hop on a plane here in about 5 hours." And I was like, "Well, I guess we're gonna have to figure this thing out."
You should have called in from the plane. That would have been cool.
Yeah, he could be down sitting at poolside, in Mexico, and be doing it down there. But
he had 12 hours in the Houston airport. He could have called in.
That is true. So you got that Snapchat too, is what you're saying.
Oh, yeah.
See, I don't usually respond to half of them because I know I'm not special. He sends it to every single person in his content.
Tell me that. I like to know that Kyle. See, but it gets put on the story and then sent to me, so I'm like somewhere high up on the list.
Yeah, I mean everyone gets it, dude. I don't want to burst your bubble. Everyone gets it.
Whatever. Well, at least I know not to go to Houston's airport because he said it's probably the worst one he's ever been to out of 3.
Yeah. I would say for me it was Philadelphia. I don't know if you've been in any bad airports. Philadelphia was bad for me. I had to sleep on a bench in the Philadelphia airport after getting layover, and I had to sleep on a seat in the Philadelphia airport. Had to go buy a shirt, deodorant, all that stuff because all my luggage was in Detroit already. It was not a good time.
I haven't had any bad airport experiences. I've had bad airline experiences, but I flew Charlotte, which is like one of the busiest airports in the country. Yeah.
Well, we digress. Yeah. So, on your property, you said that there's a lot of mature trees in there. What are you doing? Do you have much bedding on your property? What are you doing to try to get that up? Or you worry, or you have the other properties hopefully have bedding, which then they come to you and have more of the food sources on your property? What are you kind of relying on there?
On my property?
Yeah.
The neighbor's property, he's got 23 acres there across the power lines to the north of me. He's got good bedding, and nobody hunts it, so it's kind of a sanctuary, for lack of a better word. And my property, very park-like. I mean, I've got a trail camera on the south side of the property line, and the north side of the property line. And I'll get in the rut, I'll get a buck on the south side coming and he'll cross that property in 4 minutes and be on the other camera, so they can cross the property, take one look, east and one look west, and nope, there's no does here for me, and I'm out of here. But I'm trying to walk a fine line between, enjoying the property. I know my wife likes the park-like setting. It's nice to walk in any other time of the year, but just trying to find a fine line between keeping it that way and creating some sort of diversity in there so that the bucks they can't just blaze right through my property, because if you're not in the right spot, in a blink of an eye, they're in and they're out of there.
I mean, because like you said, like if it wasn't for the hills, right? Like if you were standing at your house and you could look through your whole property with there's no obstructions.
Yeah.
And it's kind of similar to how your in-laws property is too, a little bit as well.
Yeah.
Is there anything you're like thinking, like select cutting, anything like that, to maybe try to get that understory up a little bit? Even though I know you like that park-like view, you guys have been successful in the last couple years, right? Your dad shot one, you shot one your first year on the property. Because I mean, like, if no one was hunting if someone was hunting the neighboring property, it might be a totally different scenario that you're in right now.
No, I don't think I'm going to go too aggressive on it. I think, I've got like a 2.5 acre food plot in the power lines there. I've got some apple trees, planted some apple trees last year, and they did really well. So I'm expecting a few apples to drop this year, hopefully. So I've getting some food sources out there. That'll definitely help, but one of the main battles with dropping and opening that canopy is the power lines. I don't know if, what the listeners, if they've got to deal with it, but autumn olive is a huge problem on those power lines, and it can quickly overtake an area. And so with the amount of time that I have invested in everything else that I've got going on, and kids and work and everything else, battling autumn olive is pretty low on my list. And so it's another problem. Do I want to, maybe thicken up the property a little bit, but then have to deal with autumn olive taking over everything, and it's just,
the lesser of two evils.
Hemming and hawing on what I want to do. So I think we're here for the long run. So that first year that we moved here, I, brought the big chainsaw out and started dropping trees. And then in the springtime, I was like, man, I got a little carried away here. And so I just trying to take it a little bit slow and make slight changes, and then the following season, look back on those and say, hey, did I like that? Do I want to do more of that? Do I need to not do any more of that? So just baby steps. So, and
I mean,
it helps that I've got, the 70 acres, and then I go out on public land and I go to Ohio. So I don't have to put all my eggs in one basket. So,
and I mean, with doing all these changes and stuff, then you totally lose the pattern of the deer that you've already, because you kind of already know with only being there for 3 years, they have these certain paths just from sitting there. The one time we went doe hunting that one time, like the deer are going to come in out of this one cut out of the autumn olive, and they're going to walk straight across, and you can kind of set up for where those deer are going to be at,
Yeah.
So doing all those changes is going to screw that up.
Yeah, there's always going to be those patterns, and as long as you put yourself in those positions, you're there to kill. Like when I shoulder shot that buck, I sat there. That was November 4th, and that buck that I shoulder shot came through after 2 other bucks I saw. Those other 2 bucks blew through the property, and this one I gave him a snort wheeze, and he actually took an interest to it and came on over. So I mean, the opportunities are still there. Just makes it a little bit tougher in bow season. So. But that's part of the game. That's what makes it fun, and that's why we do it.
And like you said, it's nice having that 70 acres you can fall back on, Yeah. It's a lot of people would kill to get that in that type of situation. I guess for the listeners, people out there door knocking, trying to get permission.
Yep.
We have fallen short many times on goose hunting, duck hunting permission, but you're able to strike it up and get a deer hunting piece. How did it go for you getting that piece and holding that connection with that landowner to keep that permission without having to pay any money for that piece?
Like Travis said, I do a lot of door knocking for waterfowl. Not really the most successful at it, but I've gotten permission on 2 pieces of deer hunting property. The one small piece, but really big bucks on it. until EHD killed most of them. But this 70-acre piece, we had a relationship, had a relationship with this fella. My in-laws live across the street, never knew him, but we got married on my in-laws' property, and they had this really cool old farm barn. We ended up taking wedding pictures in it. Just went over and said, hey, we're getting married across the street. Can we take pictures? It was an empty barn. Can we take wedding pictures in your empty barn? And they were like, yeah, that's cool. And took our pictures and went on our way, never really talked again. And then this last spring, I went over there. We turkey hunt my in-laws' property unsuccessfully. And, there's always turkeys over there. We hear them gobbling on the roost. And like I said, that backs up to the nice green wheat field. The birds love being out there. So I went over there and said, hey, hope you remember me. We took wedding pictures over here in your barn. And, what are the odds I can turkey hunt? He's like, yeah, I think you could do that. And he's like 80 years old. His wife is, 75. Kids don't really come around too much. They don't seem like the outdoorsy types. Basically had the property to myself this spring. I told him, if you need help around the property, need help around the house, lawn mowed, whatever, give me a call. Here's my number. And never got a call from him. And then went over there late summer, I think July-ish or whatever, when I finally got time, and went over there and thanked him in person. And, just making that relationship with him. He's, like I said, he's 85. His kids don't come around a ton. The one lives out of the city and stuff like that. And so just making that relationship with him. He goes on walks with me. We shoot the shit, things like that. They just love that. They eat it up. But I brought him some steaks, and we make maple syrup on our home property. So I brought him some of that and creating that relationship. And he's like, well, actually, we got some trees we could cut up out there. And I was like, done. We went out there and I cut up those trees, and then I took him out after to show him, that how it looked. And he's like, man, this is great. Nobody deer hunts out here. And I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, it's yours if you want it. And I was like, pull my arm. So yeah, they worked out. Went set up some stands cut some more trails, and came back the one day with him on the side-by-side, and some guy sitting in his driveway. And I was like, you expecting company? And, is this bad time? And no, I don't know who that is. And come to find out, it's some guy that pumped his septic earlier in the year that also had deer hunting permission, oddly enough. So whatever, it's 70 acres. So we agreed to split the property in half, and I got my half and he got his half. And it's like, this could work. And it was some Joe Schmo, and then his son was hunting, and then his cousin was hunting. And it was like, this doesn't seem like it's just me and you. Like, this don't seem very fair. But whatever, I kind of let him play his game, and he wasn't the greatest communicator. And in the back of my head, I'm like, this owner wants to know when we're out there. He wants to know what's going on. And they killed 2 deer, and the owner never knew about it until I brought it up. And I was like, this could work out. And sure enough, the guy lost his permission. And so I've got the 70 all to myself, and I'm just setting myself up to.
So it sounds like you kicked the guy off your property. It sounds like you kicked that guy off
your
property.
No. I let him play his own game. I did not sabotage him. No. I remember texting Travis, and man, that guy killed that buck, and Tom didn't even know about it. I texted him, Tom, and I was like, yeah, guy shot a decent buck. He's like, he did. I didn't hear about that. And I was like, yeah, he shot it like
you
2
want to see
weeks
a
ago.
picture? You want to see a picture?
Yeah. So, no, he played his cards in my mind perfectly. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, and that just shows like the keys, right? Like you did everything right. Like you try to help out that landowner. You do all the things the right way, and you get to hunt 70 acres without having to pay a dime. You just do some work around here. Talk to the guy. Just be a good human being, right?
It kind of sounds on the chainsaw, and like the property's just littered with red oaks, which I don't know if you guys know, but awesome firewood. Yeah, take all the firewood you need. So sometimes I have to pinch myself that
Well, what I'll do is I'll drop the address below. If someone wants to go over there and maybe pay some money, he might be able to undercut them. No,
Yeah,
I
I
mean
heard
that.
it was-
I was gonna say that kind of sounds like what happened with me out back here with those guys that tried to come in and take the piece behind me all for themselves, and that kind of shot himself in the foot as well.
Yeah, that guy was kind of a clown.
Yeah, him and his cousin, and his uncle, and his buddy, and I just tried to do everything the right way, and he kind of tried to push me out, and like he was the same way. He wanted to be texted, when we're out there, what was going on, and that the guy kind of just ran around, did his own thing, and I kind of just was like, sure, do whatever you want, man, and kind of was the same ending to the situation where he no longer gets to hunt it, and I'm able to hunt it all by myself now.
Yeah. So if you're listening and you're one of those guys, stop making us look bad.
Yes. Don't
Create
be
that
the guy that gets
relationship.
kicked off a property, and then when some awesome guys like ourselves come around and want to hunt that property,
Yeah.
we can get permission. Okay.
Yeah. Don't be that guy.
I mean, I could probably count on both my hands how many times we stop at a door, and that's a lot of fingers to count. Stop at a door, and they go, we try to let someone hunt out here before, and they shot our barn, they shot our horse on accident, like I've heard that before.
Yeah.
They've shot at the barn by our horses, and so now we don't let anyone hunt out here, and it's like loaded with geese or prime deer hunting property, and it's like,
Yeah.
what the
They
heck,
don't
man?
want to hear it.
What the heck?
Yeah.
But it's March 28th, Ben. We are counting down the days to turkey season. I know it is your favorite time of year. It is one of my favorite times of the year.
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to turkey season this year? I can feel it in my bones. You are going to kill a turkey this year. I can feel it. I
I
can
hope
feel
so.
it.
I got to get the monkey off my back.
Yes. So Ben and I have been hunting together, or known each other for, I don't know, what, 7 years, 8 years now?
Yeah.
A little bit less, maybe. We've been turkey hunting together for
All of those.
all those years. We've had some very close calls, to say the least, and we have yet to get him his first bird. And I feel it this year. I
We
mean,
say
out
that
back,
every year.
me and Connor went for a walk out back the other day, and those two longbeards there was two longbeards just standing right out in the back field, right next to the property line. I'm like, these birds are asking for it. All the birds are starting to move back into the normal patterns.
I've heard it before.
It's starting to green up a little
I've
bit.
heard it before.
We're gonna get him. We're gonna get this bird on a tee for you this year, using those
I want him pinned up. I'm gonna
Migra
shoot the
12s.
neighbors. I'm gonna shoot your neighbor's turkey here. June comes around, he's in trouble. If there's still a bird tag in my pocket.
What we should do is we should go set up behind the neighbor's property and use it as a natural, just that we call them back and forth to each other.
We tried that last year.
I mean, I got him within 20 yards. I don't know what else you want me to do, but unfortunately, the property I'm able to
Travis on all
hunt.
these guided deer hunts and
Guided deer
waterfowl hunts, and he likes to toot his own horn. He's not a turkey guide.
So if you want to say that now, I guess we should go into the point of how many shots have been taken on my guided turkey hunts without any birds falling to the ground. At least 3.
Enough to empty a box of 5.
Yeah. Because there was what? Did you miss one last year? I don't think you missed one last year.
No,
Or was that
I've pulled back on the trigger. Some of these shots were probably Hail Mary shots after the birds have turned and tucked tail. Those don't really count.
So there has been some tough shots, right? Like the one at at the in-laws
Very
there.
first year, this wasn't with you. This was with another buddy. I had to bow hunt. This is my first ever turkey hunt, and I missed a tom twice with a bow. Yep.
I mean, we've had some. I mean, we've been on like I think it was the first years.
We
had those
birds
jakes.
stupid close and just had the wrong setup.
Yeah, I mean, we had those jakes one of the first years that were in front of us, and they sat there and gobbled for ever.
I will not shoot a jake. I've passed too many jakes. I'm at the point of no return.
Well, I think what I told you is we had those 3 jakes in front of us, and you passed them up, and I think at one point you said to me, it's like, I think I might shoot a jake, and I was like, no, you ain't fucking shooting a jake now. We could have been tagged out 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And we hunted a bunch last year, and the one time you didn't sit with me, I was able to shoot my bird. So I think you are what I am to waterfowl hunting. I am the ultimate curse when it comes to waterfowl hunting. You may be the ultimate curse when it comes to turkey hunting.
I think so. I think I might just go over to Kyle. He seems to be a better guide.
I mean, you're probably
Tell a
right.
story about last year on the power lines.
So, my gosh. So was this the first? Was this the first morning we sat out there, or the second morning with your dad?
I can't say.
I think it was.
just
I think it
know
was that Saturday morning. So
This is like the second or third time we've had that happen sitting on that damn tower where the birds are just close
We
enough
had-
you can feel it.
yeah, no. So we had. I feel like I've told the story before with Kyle, but so Ben's dad also had not shot a bird. So Ben's got a ton of birds on his property, even though he's got a ton of birds on his
Don't
property.
make it sound like I'm just drowning in turkeys.
I mean, what'd you have? I think you had 3 longbirds on your property last year.
Yeah, but it's not like they just are here eating off my bird feeder. I'm not like the world's worst turkey hunter.
No.
I mean, like the birds are gone 90% of the year and then they just show up in the spring.
That's how it is here at my house too. Is like they're gone, and then all of a sudden, 2 weeks ago they're back. But digress. So we get to his house, and we walk back a little bit.
You got
I'll
scared
call-
by the fox.
There yet? You're ruining my story.
We heard it.
So, yeah, we heard a fox walking back, and that was the weird. I don't know if anyone's heard a fox do whatever that noise howl ish. It
Yeah.
sounds like freaking what's Slender Man. That's what it was like to me. Slender Man in the brush, because it's autumn olives. You can't see into the woods at all when you get up close to it, and it just was the nastiest sounding animal I've ever heard in my life. So that started out the morning. I don't even think did we even try to get them on the tree. We already knew kind of where they were at from
No,
that
we already
previous
knew where
day.
they were. I
We
think
already
they
knew
were
where they.
on-
Yeah,
They were on both sides of us.
yeah. So
didn't
we had
even
one.
wanna bug
We had
them
one
out.
one tom on the. We were sitting one tom to our south, one tom to our east, and we were in the perfect situation. Right, we get set up, overlooking his food plot he had put in. Turkeys start gobbling, starts getting closer to daylight. They're gobbling back and forth, and we're like, this is gonna happen. But mind you, where I had set up, because I was there filming this hunt, was set up on one of the main runs coming out of the autumn olives. And I don't remember if I had said anything about this, but I feel like I should have.
You did.
I had said something
Said,
like,
"Should I sit here?" I said, "Yeah, I don't think they'll come out of there."
yeah, that's famous last words. I don't think they're
Yeah,
going to come
this
out
year,
here.
just don't listen to me. You're the guide, okay? I want you to just.
See, the thing is, when I get on a hunt with someone else, right, it's their hunt. Like where Kyle is, he'll control the show from start to finish. I'm like, this is your
Paid you
hunt.
big money last year.
This is your hunt. I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna call. I'll call them in. You tell me where to be at. Well, we get calling. That bird's coming, and
Both
sure
sides.
as shit,
Both sides.
Sure as shit, the bird walks right down the run right where I'm on. This tom is probably 3 or 4 steps behind. Like I don't think you saw him. I
I
didn't
saw
look.
her out of the corner of my eye, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah, because I
Just
think I was
beating
like,
down Travis's door.
I was just like this, and birds come walking down. I think it was the hen that came down and busted me. Went back. Hey, I probably could have grabbed this hen. That's how close she was to me. They go out, come back around. I'm trying to because I see the birds. And I'm like trying to make some type of movement.
And we're watching. There was 2 toms
up on the hill,
front of
right?
us, right on my property.
Yeah,
And then we had that hen that almost ran you over, and another tom behind you.
because they had shut up. This probably had been like maybe 5-10 minutes had passed, and we thought those birds had just went back to the north and were gone. Well, they had came out around and were circling behind them. Maybe it was probably 20 yards maybe behind you, maybe a little bit farther than that. And I'm trying to make some type of movement at them. They don't see me. Those birds walk right behind them, and they go up and join those other birds up on the top of the hill. That was the morning we were getting pictures of a full tom, fanned out, full puffed up, just in front of his camera for probably 15-20 minutes as I'm calling, and you can see him all puffed up, gobbling back at us, but on the other side of the hill. That's the kind of luck that we have hunting together.
Yep.
Right there.
Yep.
Like at your in-laws, we had those 2 toms coming behind us, other side of the
That's
pines.
4.
Yeah. It was insane hunt. Like they just were gobbling behind us. The one morning we set up on that same property, they were roosted right above us. And when we got out there, flew down, went the wrong direction. We probably messed with those
We've
birds.
had some good hunts.
Yeah, we've had some great hunts.
Just not killed.
We chased the birds behind my house on both sides of the swamp probably twice.
We
So
had that one last year. We had those 2 last year that I was at full draw on.
that was that
Needed
same.
another. What did we need? 3 steps?
Yeah, because we'd set up. He came through the fence, which was one of the battles there, and he just didn't take 2 more steps to get out and do a shot. And Ben was at full draw, just sitting there. It's like, because I can't use a gun on this property, and didn't want to be sleazy about it, right? And took the bow out there.
Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it.
And
don't ruin it.
We had chased
Not
those birds
worth
around
it.
forever. And so the funny thing is those birds kicked up, went back to the other side. So what we did was we ran around the swamp back onto my property, and these birds were hammering again, going to come right at us. And that's where we were sitting there talking. We're like, should we get the gun? And the gun is, mind you, back at the house, and we're back in the middle of the woods. And he has his bow still, and we're like, those birds are still a little bit of ways away. So I'm like, I won't call. You run back to the house and get the gun. So I'm just sitting there, and this bird is just gobbling, getting closer and closer. And I sit down because I'm like, shit, these birds are 60 yards away through the trees, right? Like they don't know we're there. And I'm just waiting for Ben to get to where I can see him to be like, get down, get down. And he hits I see him, I'm like, get down. And right then he gobbles again, and they're less than 60 yards from us. And of course, there's another fence where they had to cross, and those birds did not want to cross. They ended up pushing back farther, so we moved on them, got closer, then they just gobbled and gobbled as they walked away. And yeah, that was probably the last hunt we had that year, at least on those birds.
Yeah, that was pretty late. It was pretty green out, I think. Yep.
Yeah. Some of the things that we do this year's going to be different. I can feel it. We're going to get you on a bird.
Can we get a baiting permit for turkeys? Or is that...
We got to get Uncle Ted behind it, and then we'll get it passed. I think that's what it's got to be. Or we'll just go hunt by someone's bird feeder. Since we're not technically bait, we're not hunting over bait. We're just gonna be hunting in some type of direction of a bird feeder, and we know where they're coming.
It's for squirrels and the turkeys.
We can frost seed a food plot in March, so all the seeds on top. I think that's the way around the system right there.
Too bad it's March 28th. We haven't done that yet.
But it's frost seeding for turkeys, though. They're just gonna eat the seeds.
See, that's why we keep you around. That's a great idea, Travis.
I wonder how many people actually do that, though.
Kyle!
I didn't say it. Oh, man. But before we hop off here, I do want to mention a couple awesome deals that we have through some of our sponsors. Pattern Pros, if you were listening to last week's podcast, they gave us a 10% discount to their store. If you haven't heard of them, look them up. Awesome company. If you're sighting in if you get a new gun, trying to figure out some new shells, it's the perfect place to go be able to get a mixed bag of different types of shells and see what shell works best in your gun. If you want to type in Great Lakes 10 for 10% off there. We have Hunt Proof. We've been using Hunt Proof for the last 2 years now. For waterfowl this year, they just came out with their turkey journal. Really cool here because I don't do much for waterfowl journaling, but turkey journaling. It's got gobble meters. It's got all the stuff you need for scouting stuff in it if you're scouting a lot for turkeys. And then it's also has the journaling for your harvest and stuff like that. Use Great HP 25 for 25% off that. Really cool app there. Cooler Guard spray will be used for our scent killer to clean out all our coolers. GLO for 20% off that. And Hodag Outdoors, what I use for all my scents for my deer hunting, what made me successful this year for my buck that I shot. Use Great Lakes for 15% off there. Want to thank everyone for listening on. I want to thank Ben for hopping on last minute and doing this podcast. I know it's your first time. I think it went pretty well.
Yeah, I had fun shooting the shit with you. So
we'll have to have you on again when Kyle's back on and see how a professional does it.
Yeah,
because I am no professional.
Yeah, the bar's pretty low, Kyle. If you listen, bar's pretty low. I had no preparation, no notes. I said, "What are we talking about?" I don't know. We're just gonna talk. So.
Hey, look at that. We talked for 50 minutes. I think that's a pretty good job there.
Yeah.
But thanks again, Ben, for hopping on. This will drop Monday, so keep on the lookout for that. And thanks again for listening. Stay tuned for next episode. Peace out, guys.
See ya.